let's take you back to Waterkloof base there, where SABC International News Editor Sophie Mokoena is live for us, of course, as international dignitaries continue to arrive for the inauguration tomorrow. Sophie, over to you. Of course, we saw the Namibian president not too long ago arriving.
Well, as you can see, Zimbabwe has just touched down. As Namibia is giving way, Zimbabwe has just touched down. That is the president of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, the incoming chair of SADC, and the president of Zimbabwe. President Mnangagwa has now arrived, and very soon we'll see him, as the military here is trying to prepare, because the arrival was very close to Namibia, and therefore they are trying to prepare before President Emmerson Mnangagwa leaves that plane. He took over from the late former President Robert Mugabe after that turmoil in Zimbabwe, and the succession was very rocky. A very close friend of South Africa. We have seen him with the president-elect in many fora, but also when he was inaugurated in Zimbabwe, the president-elect was there, and today he is returning the formalities. As we pointed out, most of leaders who will be attending this inauguration will be leaders from the SADC region. After Zimbabwe, we expect Mozambique, President Nyusi, who will not stand for election in Mozambique this year. As you know that Mozambique, Namibia, and Botswana will be going to elections. And that is Zimbabwe carrying the president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, ahead of the inauguration. The relationship between South Africa and Zimbabwe are quite strong. In terms of trade, South Africa is the largest trading partner of Zimbabwe, including other countries in the region. Mnangagwa will be hosting the SADC meeting later this year, and he will be taking over as the chair of SADC, taking over from Angola, the current chair of SADC, with the Troika organ on politics and defense security, the chair there being Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. He will be handing over to Tanzania, President Suluhu Hassan, woman president on the continent with the executive powers. We know that the president of Ethiopia is a woman, but with no executive power, because the head of government in that country is Prime Minister Abiy. And yeah, that's the arrival of the neighbor, Zimbabwe, the arrival of the president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa. We will soon, after Zimbabwe, see the arrival of Mozambique, It will be followed perhaps by Angola if all goes well. We will also see the arrival of President of Tanzania, Suluhu Hassan, at this very same airport. While at OR Tambo, we saw the arrival of the President of Mauritius. We will also later today see the arrival of the President of Nigeria, who is also the chair of West Africa, ECOWAS. And we wait to see President Emerson Mnangagwa. And earlier on, we saw the arrival of the President of Namibia. He was received by the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blade Nzimande. We are waiting to see. In terms of Zimbabwe, the Minister of Health is already waiting, Dr. Joe Pahla, to receive the President of Zimbabwe. And we have a group that will receive President Mnangagwa with formalities. The cultural group, Basotho Blanket and the heads. Earlier on, we saw a cultural group with vendor culture. I think here South Africa will show different cultures. As you know that South Africa is a melting pot of different cultures. President Mnangagwa will be received by Dr. Joe Pahla, and he is now walking towards the plane with the ambassador of Zimbabwe in South Africa. And maybe let's listen in as the Air Force personnel is moving towards that plane. Cultural group ke mogibo ba ya giba ba gaba ka magabane a Basotho. As you can see, South Africa demonstrating different cultures in the country.
Well, as you have been witnessing, we are monitoring developments at the Waterkloof base in Pretoria, monitoring, of course, international dignitaries arriving for the inauguration tomorrow. Of course, now we are seeing the Zimbabwean presidential plane where Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa will be disembarking any moment now. Our international news team is monitoring those developments on the ground for us. SABC's international news editor Sophie Mokoena on the ground there, just watching and witnessing as those dignitaries come in.
You can see now President Emmerson Mnangagwa, accompanied by the diplomat, the ambassador of Zimbabwe. And as I pointed out during his inauguration, President Cyril Ramaphosa then did attend his inauguration, and him returning those diplomatic formalities. Many of the leaders you will see tomorrow at the inauguration are those leaders from countries where President Ramaphosa was able to attend the swearing in of those leaders. The other criteria used was those leaders who are chairing the different regional organizations. And of course, because South Africa is a member of SADC, many leaders will come from the regional economic organization SADC.